So who wants to vote for the proposition? All right. Okay, 11. Great. Now, I'm gonna see if I counted everyone right the first time. All right. Who votes for the opposition? Sorry. 1. 19. Oh, wow. Okay. Everyone actually voted properly, and I actually could count. Surprising. Anyway, in that case, I guess that declares a win for the opposition. Congratulations. And now I'll hand off for the rest of the evening.
Well, I'm just so totally amazed by this, blown away. I mean, well done, both sides. I kept changing my mind. How bad is that when I know exactly where I stand on this debate, and I kept literally changing my mind. After we did our second workshop about values and how you have ownership of land, I had lunch with a friend of mine. I was telling you he was a barrister and he was one of the negotiators representing the island states of Tuvalu, who were going to actually be underwater as a result of climate change. When I told him what you guys were doing, he was immediately in the thick of all the issues that I heard on both sides bouncing to and fro as they happened in the climate change negotiations at Kyoto and every negotiation afterwards. Everybody now agrees, as you both did, that the rainforest is worth saving. Everybody says they will save it and they have a better right to save it, and everybody also understands that the rainforest has intrinsic value and an economic value in a country that needs to develop, a country that doesn't have schools for its people, or hospitals, or adequate transport systems, water treatment systems. Of course, they also want the right to development. But what we're actually doing, and we're continuing to do it, is we've got a little square hole in a round peg, and we want to keep knocking the round peg in that square hole. And the round peg is the rainforest, which will always hopefully be there, because mankind will probably wipe itself out where we're going. But the rainforest is not something that can be defined by the rules, the square rules of history, of politics, of economics. And as we are at the moment, we have got no international legal basis that is credible and working, that allows development, that is rightful, that allows history's past mistakes to be corrected, and that also allows the rainforest to have its intrinsic value recognised. So my friend, James Cameron, not the barrister, he said, the answer is benign dictatorship or revolution. But I reckon the answer is you guys, because you, in the future, hopefully, will be the kind of people who have learned what it is, not only to have an argument, but to have that argument from the perspectives of different cultures and also imagining different future possibilities.
In this debate, you're given personalities or characters from the Jabuji Pilot book. This means you'll be given different perspectives that maybe you would usually have. So in terms of a hands up, who was arguing maybe perhaps something they originally were against? Okay. So was it and would you say you found it difficult to argue a point or from a perspective that you didn't previously have or to?
Slightly. I think it wasn't too difficult because this point's been argued quite a lot, like by actual, like the UN. Like this issue's just been going, so there weren't points that you could pick off other people to form that argument. So it wasn't too difficult.
Did you change your mind in the course of the debate?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The last speech changed my mind a bit. Yeah.
I was kind of on the fence at the beginning of the whole workshop, because my gut instinct told me that if we had the right to sell, then we would sell it and it would be exploited and destroyed. But as I took the role on this team, I sort of researched it and got into it and saw how, you know, realistically we could still sell it or lease the land and still preserve the forest. And actually my character is sort of like that in the book. He sort of has this like environmental epiphany, and then he becomes like really into preserving the rainforest. So yeah, it's quite busy. But I've grown into it, but I'm still not sure on my position.
Yeah, I think I was a bit on the fence as well to begin with, because I'm all for conservation of the rainforest, of course. I mean, it's an extremely important thing to do. However, it's just so much more complicated when the Amazon is effectively Brazil's only major resource in order to, especially in this kind of situation when it's in a pretty bad economic situation, it's the only real resource to really kickstart it. So it's hard to draw the line on where it should happen. But I think the debate has kind of made me feel that there has to be an extent of which some of it is utilised in order to, because if other countries can have their own resources to use, like on Brazil kind of thing. So that's kind of using this kind of argument, which I had to do, to kind of open that up to me really.
I thought you were all very diplomatic in terms of your debating. In the UN situation, there's much more of a standoff between richer and poorer countries, and sort of assigning blame. Your speech sort of started to hint at that. Don't tell us what to do, etc., etc. But I wondered, was there not more of an inclination amongst you to do the finger pointing stuff that our politicians do?
I think it's probably to do not, I don't know about anyone in particular, but not a lot of us have had a massive amount of experience in debating, and so this is really one of the first kind of things to start, which is why the workshops were so helpful. So I guess to begin with, we're kind of at the bare bones of this is our argument, we disagree with you, but not quite getting into it because we're not really so used to it. But I think we're getting there a little bit.
This whole evening, this whole setup, this particular debate, they've had no rehearsal, no prior kind of prep really for this, because we wanted it to be real and organic and in the moment. We've had some practice, a small amount of practice just debating a sort of mock motion, but this was completely sort of first time, that they've debated this particular thing. So I suppose given practice, they might get a bit more feisty and a bit more interesting. But that's what's been so impressive actually.